When I was younger, I often used to see my cousins, sisters and brothers stressed out. I started developing a fear inside myself. That fear was regarding the upcoming challenge which I had to face. The huge amount of syllabus, its completion, at the same time presenting myself as a good student in front of my teachers. All this was way too much for me to handle. At the same time, I had to present myself I had to enjoy the best time with my friends because those memories wouldn't come ever after. In my childhood, I often used to hear the stupid thing that if your eyelash falls out somewhere and you spot it, then you just need to keep it over here, close your eyes, make a wish and blow it away. And with this simple step, your wish will come true. I was an idiot to believe on this. And I literally used to pluck off my eyelashes to make a wish. And I insanely wanted that wish to come true. Well, what was my wish, you ask? I said to God, please finish the ritual of exams when I grow up. I cannot face all these challenges. I am not bluffing. I often used to say these things. This wish would never come true. I knew that, but still, I wished to God. But now, I have changed drastically. I do not fear exams, and I enjoy the best time with my friends without taking the pressure of studies. And I live a very happy student life now. And what's my secret? Well, I'm here to tell you. So it's every student's dream to achieve these three ambitions in his or her life. The first one, to become a topper. Isn't that obvious? Absolutely. The second one, to present himself or herself as a good student in front of teachers. And the third one, to enjoy the best moment with friends, because those moments will never come ever after. So today, in my talk, I will be focusing mostly on the first one because it is the hardest. I will tell you a little about the second one because you can become the apple of your teacher's eye even if you don't score great. And the third one, probably I don't need to tell you. And if you don't know how to, then go and make friends and enjoy. So, to become a topper. One of the most important things if you want to become a topper is to understand each and every chapter of your syllabus. You need to be thorough with each and every line. The easiest method to do this is to listen to your teachers when they give you lectures. And the easiest method to remember the lectures is by taking notes. Now here we have the Cornell method of taking notes. And I personally feel that this is the best method and the most effective one to take notes. Don't believe me? Okay. Look at this report of Harvard University. Harvard University suggests in one of its reports that Cornell method is the best method to take notes. So, how do we actually implement this Cornell method? For this, first of all, you have to take a plain sheet of paper and prepare it into three parts, as such. So the biggest part will be the hero part, the part which is next to it will be the villain part, and the part at the bottom will be the bacha part. So what are we supposed to do with these? So in the hero part, you have to write all the important points which you think are very crucial of this chapter. So write everything in short. The keyword is short. Don't write a whole Mahabharata. Then, in the bacha part, you have to write a super short summary of the entire chapter. So the bacha part is going to cover the entire chapter. Now, when I say villain, what do you think? A villain is a person whom you don't like, whom you just hate. So in the villain part, you are going to write the concepts and the questions which you feel is very hard for you. And you need to focus the most on the villain part. Now, how do you read these notes? Reading notes is very important because if you don't, then there's no use of making notes. You wasted your time, you wasted the ink, and you wasted paper. You are responsible for global warming. Just kidding. So, it's good if you read these notes a day before the exams because it will refresh everything in your mind. So first of all, you have to cover the hero part and the bacha part. So be thorough with the hero and bacha part, then move on to the villain part. So you have to try to solve the questions which are there in the villain part. Try once, try twice. If you don't get the answer, the hero is there. Well, it's the job of the hero to help the villain. Wait, it's the job of the hero to help the villain? No, in our paper, in our notes. Sorry. Now, here we have a few general rules to keep in mind if you want to become a topper. Now, when I say the word genius, what do you think? Anyone?
Einstein.
Okay. A genius is someone who has exceptional skills in a particular area. For example, 81 not out Virat Kohli is a cricketing genius. E is equal to mc square. Einstein is a genius. He was a genius physicist. So here we have few rules which you have to keep in mind if you want to become a successful student. First one, beat the curve. Now, according to a German psychologist Ebbinghaus, his theory of memory is absolutely correct and can be used by students in the studies. Now I will explain what this theory of memory is. So when we read a text, it is present 100% in our mind. After 9 hours, we forget 64% of the matter. And after a month, only 20% of the matter remains in our mind. This is called the theory of memory. So, whenever you read a text, then you need to revise that after a day. Then the second revision which you are going to do is after a week. And the third revision which you are going to do is after a month. And in this way, you will not forget the thing which you read. Second, stay ahead. Now, whenever we play games, a hormone called dopamine is released in our body, which gives us a feeling of motivation and helps us to do that thing more. Whenever I play angry games, it's just Angry Birds, it's just impossible to stop me from playing that. So we are going to use this in our studies. So how are you actually going to do that? Whenever your teacher is going to explain a chapter, you already know the date, when she is going to explain that chapter. A day before, you have to read that chapter. You have to be thorough with the chapter. And when your teacher explains that the next day, you'll understand everything even more clearly. And if your teacher asks any question, then you will be able to answer it. With this, dopamine will be released in your body, and this will give you a feeling of motivation, and you would want to do the thing again. So this is a great method if you want to become a topper. Mind-blowing mistakes. Now, Harry Potter. This is a great novel, isn't it? So J.K. Rowling was the author of Harry Potter, and she was turned down by 12 publishers before publishing her book. The same thing, you have to take inspiration from this and you have to apply this in your studies. Whatever mistakes you have to make them before your exams. Try to solve as many questions as you can. Solve challenging questions. Try. Once, you may not get it right, but the next time, you surely will. So, whatever mistakes you're supposed to make them before the exams. Don't make any mistakes during the exams. Slackers, stay away. Now we have a scientific effect called the mirroring effect. It states that we become like people around whom we stay. So try to stay away from people who don't like studying. Now, I don't mean that you have to ignore them completely. When you once know that they're not very good in studies, you just need to interact a little less and stay around people who study more. This will give you two benefits. First, it will help you to build a healthy competition amongst yourselves. And two, this will make you wanting to study even more. Now, we don't have time. Not at all. We have 24 hours in a day, 23 hours, 56 minutes, 4 seconds to be precise. But if you were on Mercury, then you would have lots of time. Because one day on Earth is equal to 2 years on Mercury. That's great, isn't it? Well, here on Earth, you have tuitions, coaching classes, school, and all these things. And all these are way too much for you to handle. Time management is a very necessary thing in today's world, and you have to know how to manage time. So it's best if you make a timetable, and this timetable will help you achieve your goals. So the most effective method to make a timetable is called the Eisenhower method. So this basically follows two important aspects. First one, amount of syllabus, and the second, amount of time. So to make this timetable, you first have to draw a 2 into 2 grid as shown in the picture, and you have to write difficult, easy, and more and less. So in the difficult and more grid, you are going to write the subjects which are difficult to you and you feel that the syllabus is a lot for you. And in the easy and more, you're going to write the syllabus, the subjects which are easy to you, and the syllabus is more. In the difficult and less, you're going to write the subjects which you feel are difficult for you, but the syllabus is less. And in the easy and less grid, you're going to write the subjects which are easy and the syllabus is less too, fortunately. Tackle time. Now after we've made this grid, we have to make the timetable. So after deducting all the time which you take to brush your teeth, to bathe, to go to tuition, to go to school, to play with friends, actually the time varies from person to person. But the approximate time which you have is 6 hours. So here, for an example, let's just take that you're studying from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. So we are going to make a table as such. So on Monday, from 6 to 8 p.m., you're going to study the easiest subject, which was the easiest and had the least amount of syllabus. And from 8:15 to 9:15, you're going to study the hardest subject. So here you will ask me, 6 to 8, that is 2 hours, we are studying the easiest subjects. But 8:15 to 9:15 is only 1 hour and we are studying the hardest subject. We have to pay more focus on the hardest subject, right? But no, we are going to continue to do the same thing the entire week. That means from 8:15 to 9:15, we are going to study the hardest subject the entire week. And from 9:30 to 11, you are going to do all the homework, revision which you got from school. From 11 to 12, you are going to do a revision of all the things which you prepared that day. And 6 to 6:30 the next day, you are going to do a second revision of whatever you prepared the previous day. And this, you have to continue this timetable the entire week. Now handling holidays. On Saturdays, revise whatever you had studied the entire week. This will give you a proper revision of the things which you studied the entire week. On Sundays, try to take a small test of the things which you've studied the whole week. This will give you an idea of how much you've absorbed. Getting things done. Now, making a timetable is easy, but the most painful question is, how do we follow that? A scientific effect called Zeigarnik effect states that whenever we start one particular task, our brain tends to finish that task. It hates unfinished tasks. So this method can be applied by us in our studies. So whenever it's time for you to study, 5 minutes before your time, sit at your table. And don't wait till the clock strikes the time. You have to start studying. Now, how do we increase confidence to impress our teachers? Because teachers usually like students who are good in studies and have a lot amount of confidence in them. So, look at this picture. Look at the line which is blue in color, the first line. Which line from the 3 of them do you think has the same length to the one which has the first one? Second. Okay, so this experiment was conducted by a scientist which was called the Asch conformity experiment. In that, a person was made to sit with many actors and the actors were being told to deliberately say the wrong answer. Now when the scientist asked this question, all the actors said that the answer was 1, even though the answer was 2. When it came to the common man, the man knew that the answer was 2, but he copied the others and said that the answer was 1. This experiment states that we give more importance to the things, to what other people will think, than what is right or what is wrong. So, there are a few tips with which you can increase your confidence. The first one is help, help, help. Now look at the first picture. This is Afroz Shah. He is a lawyer in Mumbai and he volunteered to clean the whole Versova beach. Isn't that great? Well, you have to do the exact same thing. No, you don't have to clean the beach. Well, it's okay if you do, but actually you have to volunteer to help someone. This will prove very beneficial for you because you're helping someone else, but actually you are helping yourself. When you volunteer to help someone, you will get that feeling that I know more than that person. That is the reason you were able to help that person. The second one, nobody cares. Now, according to a research done by National Science Foundation, every person gets more than 50,000 thoughts every single day. So, even if that person recalls your mistake 100 times a day, he or she will only give you 0.2% in their mind. Now, 0.2% is a magic number over here. Now, whenever you feel that you're going to make a mistake, remember that the people will remember that mistake 100 times a day. And he or she will give you only 0.2% importance in their mind. Power posture. Look at the first picture. Which picture do you like the most in the two of them? Yes, the second one. Because the person looks more confident there. Now, this is called power posture. Whenever you sit, you have to sit on the very back of a chair and you have to keep your back straight. This makes other people think that you are confident and this increases confidence in you too. The fourth one, unfollow. Look at the first picture. Did you know Obama drinks water because he can't eat water? We look at these sorts of pages every day in Facebook, Instagram and stuff like that. And we like these posts because we like them very much. And in the same way, we have depressive and sad pages too, which make us cry. And we like them too because they actually let us cry. Now, according to Journal of Social and Thinker Psychologist study, if we like sad Facebook or Instagram pages, then our confidence level decreases. So, it's better if you like happy and motivational pages as it increases confidence in you. And if you want to learn how to enjoy with your friends, go and make some and enjoy with them. Thank you.